For your information, we, Creative Spotlight Media Marketing, are the go-to people for the video email marketing. Not only are we the go-to people for video email marketing, but we're the go-to people for autoresponders. And that's what this webinar is about, and we want to thank you for taking the time to tune in. What we're doing here is we're doing a short webinar to give you an idea as to how to use autoresponders and how to use video email, because really and truly, nobody buys on the first go round, so you need to have multiple exposures. And everybody kind of knows that, but people don't really know how to actually do it. So what this webinar is designed to do is to give you a boilerplate, or to give you a template, if you will, as to what kind of emails to send to your customers. And we don't want anything long. In fact, the video that I'm doing now is much longer than the videos you're going to be sending to your clients. You want to send them pertinent information, but you don't want to send them a pitch right now, because this is the first email they're just getting to know you. Since they're just getting to know you, when you send this email, the first email in the autoresponder, the subject line, which is critical, is going to be something along the lines of establishing a relationship. And even if the subject line is not establishing a relationship, whatever you make the subject line to be, it's designed to establish a relationship. So using the analogy of going on a date, when you're going on a date, you don't try to kiss her as soon as you meet her, now do you? It's a similar situation here with the video autoresponders. I'm Victor Irving Jenkins. We'll see you in the next video. I'm going to be sending you more videos in a couple of days, and this is what you say in your autoresponders. I'm going to do it all on this webinar. In your autoresponder, you're going to say something along the lines of, you'll be hearing from me every few days. You'll be hearing from me every few days. And when you do, open up the email and see what I have to say. Moving right along on this webinar, we're going to tell you what happens in email number 2 right now. You are watching a webinar and everything is on one video. But what you want to do is you want to prepare email number 2. And the subject lines for email number 2 is my story. So let's talk a little bit about my story, because my story is a very simple one. You know what I've learned? I've learned that people don't use Google the way that they used to use Google. People used to use Google when they wanted to get something because they were so excited that the whole world was at their feet and they could find anything they wanted to just by going to Google. Well, my story is that doesn't happen anymore. What people use Google for now is to validate a referral. If somebody that they know told them something about you, or if they ran across your name some kind of way, shape, form, or fashion, then they use Google to validate it to see how good you look on Google. So that's just a little smidgen, something that you might want to know. So in email number 2, you want to give the subject line, my story, and tell them something about you that they're going to appreciate, because you're going to need to distinguish yourself in as many different ways as you can, because the din, the noise that's in your customer's ear, they can't tell you from anybody else. But you know what? Nobody looks like me except me. This is letter number 3, or email number 3. And in letter number 3, I'm going to merely say that email marketing is not going to go away. And if you've been reading the statistics, you know that video is not going to go away. So now that you know those two things, you want to be sure and utilize video as often as you can. There's a reason why all the big companies send you email. You probably, like I do, you're in your inbox and you're just trashing it, deleting it. And you probably do that all the time. So this webinar that you're watching now, once again, I want to encourage you, pay close attention to it, save it. Don't worry about collecting the slides, because there's going to be a fun thing for you. And you want to watch this webinar over and over and over until you decide, something, it's time for you to get you a 12-step autoresponder. That's right. There's going to be 12 videos in this deal, but it'll be lightning fast and you will not be disappointed. If you are a coach, a speaker, or an entrepreneur, you probably relate to this next thing very, very well. And that is the fear of rejection. You're not interested in being a salesperson. You want to do business, don't you? You want the people to walk up to you and call you and ask you for what you have. And that's exactly why this email number 4 might be a little difficult for you. The heading, the subject line for email number 4 is the first hard pitch. You see, when you are emailing your database, you don't want to come out of the box with your first email asking them to buy something, or even asking them to do something that's going to take some stress or create some stress. You want to just simply build the relationship. Remember the first email? establishing the relationship. The second email, my story, remember that? Well, right now, this email number 4 is your first hard pitch, and that's when you ask people to buy something. And of course, I would be remiss if I didn't ask you to buy something. Well, if I didn't ask you to purchase my SUSO package, which gives you a wide variety of videos, it gives you webinars, it gives you video landing pages, it gives you 3V video profiles for a very reasonable price. Now, by now, you probably know that I can serve your needs. And see, I'm speaking to you right now, and as you're looking at this, you're probably feeling that little tug that a lot of people feel when they have to make a buying decision. Don't worry about it. It'll go away. So keep this in mind. When you get to the 4th email, that is called your first hard pitch. And that's when you finally ask your client to buy something for you. But listen to this. If you have done email number 1, and email number 2, and email number 3 by my specifications, then you know what? It's a very natural thing for them to expect you to offer them a sale of some kind. I mean, after all, you've had dinner, you've gone to the movie, and you're taking her home, right? And you walk up to the door, you know she expects you to try to kiss her, so certainly, sooner or later, your customers expect you to sell them something. I hope you enjoyed the music. From time to time, I'll play the music so you can read the slides, because the slides are pretty important. And what the slides do is they give you some idea as to how to craft your own slides. Because what I'm doing is I'm personalizing everything to me, and when you get the slide, you can personalize everything to you. So the next email is email number 5. And email number 5 really is the follow-up to the first hard pitch. And so since it's a follow-up to the first hard pitch, you know, it really is a pitch, isn't it? It's me actually reminding you of the pain that you're having by not getting the results that you want. To remind you about the pain that you're having from having people spend 2, 3, or more of your sessions trying to get to know you, trying to figure out whether or not they resonate with you, whether or not you are the kind of coach or the kind of speaker that they need. Because you see, what we do is we load the internet, we create lots of videos of you with our SUSO package so that people will be able to see you, hear you, touch you, smell you, taste you, so that by the time they call you up, they know whether they like you or not. They know whether they resonate with you or not, and so do you. So don't wait another minute. There's no need to wait any longer. Click on the link down below and schedule an appointment with me, and we'll talk about your specific SUSO package. But notice we are still on the webinar, and notice that everything I'm saying you can check out again. And remember, I am Victor Irving Jenkins, inviting you to step up and stand out in a bigger, bolder, more brilliant way using video. This is a pretty long segment right here. Long in the sense that the slide has lots for you to read on it. So what I'll do is give you an idea of what's been happening, because see, we're watching a webinar, but every few minutes on this webinar, you hear me say something like, I am Victor Irving Jenkins of Creative the Spotlight Media Marketing, inviting you to step up and stand out in a bigger, bolder, more brilliant way, right? Well, what I'm doing is simulating the end of my autoresponders. See, if this was an autoresponder, it wouldn't be a webinar. It would be like a few 40, 50 seconds long, and that's what I would say at the end of it. So if you've been watching and you duplicate what you see me do, then that's what you're going to do when you create your own autoresponders. So let's get into number 6. In letter number 6, we call this something like future pacing. So I asked you, where do you think the coaching industry is going to go? What do you think is going to happen to speakers and coaches? Well, I'm here to tell you. See, what's going to happen is in the future, coaches will have lots and lots of videos of them on the internet. They'll have videos on their lead capture pages. They'll have videos in their webinars. They'll have videos on their social media postings. And all those videos will allow their potential customers to see who they are. And as the customers see who they are, well, the customers will know whether they like them or not. Your customers will know whether they like you or not. And then what's going to happen then is you're going to build up a clientele of premium paying customers that'll be standing in a line to wait for you. And the reason that they'll be standing in a line to wait for you is because, well, there's nobody like you. It's not that they can go to Burger King since McDonald's is closed. No, they have to wait for you. So that's where the future is going, and you want to be ahead of that curve. I am Victor Irving Jenkins of Crave the Spotlight Media Marketing, inviting you to step up and stand out in a bigger, bolder, more brilliant way using video. And this is number 7. You know what slide number 7 says? It says foster unbridled optimism. And that's what I got, optimism, because you should have it too. By the time you get to this number 7, you should be so excited you're about to blow your skull up, because you're going to have so many people connecting with you, and you're going to have so many clients. And here's why. Your clients will be able to remember everything about you, but you're only one. So how do you remember about your clients? Well, you do it with the use of a CRM system, a customer retention management. Now, because you've been so diligent to stick it through this entire webinar as long as you have, at the end of it, I'm going to directly take you to a place where you can see a tutorial of my CRM. I'm not selling you a CRM because this is not the one where you pitch something. This is the one where I make a connection with you, where I get to know, like, and trust you. So as soon as this video is over, you're going to be taken to an example as to how to use the CRM. So until that time, this is Victor Irving Jenkins of Crave the Spotlight Media Marketing, inviting you to step up and stand out in a bigger, bolder, more brilliant way using video. So we are moving along, and just for the sake of discussion, I'm going to ease out of the set right now so that you can take a look at the slide and read some of the things that it says, because it's a fairly long slide, and this is the second hard pitch. I'm going to come back in the picture in a moment where you will have an experience of the second hard pitch. The second hard pitch. We're still on this webinar, and you're still enjoying this webinar. It's moving pretty fast. Now, if you've seen webinars before, you know that this webinar is a bit different from webinars that you have seen. For one, you can see me. I'm standing in the front of the slides, and the slides are behind me. Well, my second hard pitch is to give you the opportunity to purchase yourself a webinar like this one. Now, you know that your clients will be more engaged watching a webinar where they can see your eyes, like you can see my eyes. So you know that this webinar system is worth some money. Now, if you are interested in purchasing this webinar system, then the link coming up right below, just click on it and you can get in contact with me. Set yourself up with an appointment with me, and you have the opportunity to get you one of these whiz-bang webinars. I'm in the process of creating a webinar movement, and that's a webinar movement where the market needs something. The market needs a jolt in the arm. Aren't you tired of the same old boring marketing material? Aren't you tired of depending on Facebook and depending on social media? Aren't you tired of looking at people's desktop and trying to figure out whether they are real or not? Hey, well, you know what? You can see me, and you know I'm real, and so is my spectator shoes. They're all real. So click on that link, get yourself one of these webinars for money, and I will be back to see you. Remember, I'm not going to go anywhere. You're just going to keep watching the webinar, but I'm going to say my tagline, which is, I am Victor Irving Jenkins of Crave the Spotlight Media Marketing, inviting you to step up and stand out in a bigger, bolder, more brilliant way. You have probably noticed that this webinar consists of a series of autoresponder emails that I'm telling you is going to work. And you probably also noticed that they're all comprised of videos. You know what amazes me is how many people encourage you to use videos. There are many gurus that tell you how important video is to use, and they tell you about video email marketing as well, but they tell it to you by sending you text. How does that work? Well, here at Crave the Spotlight Media Marketing, we don't just sell videos. We don't just sell the concept of videos. We are video. And what you're looking at now is a video. We sell video emails. We have video lead capture pages. We have a phenomenal array of video products. This is email number 9, and it is a follow-up to email number 8, which is my second hard pitch. So video number 9 also is going to encourage you to purchase something. Now, if you want to know more about how we can establish your whole marketing platform using video, making video as easy to use as text is, then you want to click on the link below and get on my calendar and sit down with me. And at the very least, you'll get yourself a 3V video profile at a reduced cost. I am Victor Irving Jenkins from Creative Spotlight Media Marketing, encouraging you to step up and stand out in a bigger, bolder, more brilliant way using video. And even though you might be tired of hearing that, I sure am not tired. I'm not tired of saying it, because the people who are hearing me, well, they might have not heard it before. So we'll see you on the next email. I want to thank you again for sticking with this webinar. And remember, at the end of this webinar, you're going to get a free gift. I hope you like it very much. However, what we're talking about right now is email number 10. You see, in the 12-step autoresponder series, this is email number 10, and email number 10 is talking to you about my shortcomings. Everyone wants to connect with someone. Everyone wants to know, like, and trust everyone. And one way that this system tells you to do that is to use one email to speak of your shortcomings. So I have a shortcoming, and you have a shortcoming, and briefly I'll tell you that I got in this business just as a fluke because I used to do mortgages. But the truth of the matter is I had no business doing business in the mortgage arena, but that's where I was. So a friend of mine came by and showed me a video email, and once he showed me that video email, it was all over for me, because I love the idea of seeing myself on video, and I love the idea of email. And the company moved into the marketing arena for a while, and step by step, I learned what I needed to learn piecemeal. And so here I am now, knowing what I know, doing what I do, and you, my friend, are the big winner. So that's my shortcoming, and when you send your email number 10, be sure to make the heading your shortcoming and tell the story. In this business, you must be as transparent as you can, because people want to know who they're giving their money to. And that, of course, is reasonable. I am Victor Irving Jenkins, inviting you to step up and stand out in a bigger, bolder, more brilliant way using video. We have arrived at email number 11. And the heading for email number 11 is a free gift. So when you're doing your 12-step autoresponder, be sure and have a free gift. Now, that free gift can't be something electronic. It could be something tangible if you want to mail it out, but it must be a free gift. You want to thank the people for taking the time to view your webinar. And I want to thank you for taking the time to view my webinar. Now, as I told you about these slides behind me, these slides are going to be yours for the asking. You simply need to click on the link right below and leave your name and your email address, and I will make sure and email you a copy of these slides. These slides are pretty self-explanatory, and if you take a few minutes to read them as I play some music, you can hear the music. So you see, they are important information. You feel a lot better now about your 12-step autoresponder, and now you have no qualms at all about sending out your emails, and you have no qualms at all about video. So remember, automate your marketing. Make sure that you give them something free, and guess what? You will find that you're an expert at doing all this. And after they've gone through the 12-step autoresponder, you can simply start them over if you want, or by then you may have some more people that's opting in. So remember, I am Victor Irving Jenkins of Creative the Spotlight Media Marketing, inviting you to step up and stand out in a bigger, bolder, more brilliant way using video. Well, ladies and gentlemen, our webinar is nearly coming to an end, and it's time for me to say goodbye here in just a few minutes. But before I go, I want to give you some final words about how to get the most out of your webinar. A good friend of mine recently told me about surveys. Your last webinar, your last letter in your 12-step autoresponder should be something along the lines of, what do you want? Or something along the lines of, how can I help you? Because in your last letter for your autoresponder, you want to leave them something that will make them want to come back to you. See, they've heard from you 12 different times now, and you don't have any more emails that you want to send out. However, you want to be there for your population. You want to be there for your viewers. So ask them simply, give them 3 things that they'll be able to choose from, and don't make it difficult for them, because if you make it too difficult, they won't even answer. So the 3 things I'll have for you is number 1. Do you do webinars right now? Can you see the value of doing an automated webinar? That's number one. Question number two, is there a video on your home page for your website? If you don't have a video on your home page for your website, you need a video on your home page for your website. And finally, number three, do you have an email system that gives you the ability to measure your analytics? Do you realize that when you watch this webinar, I'll hear about it? You realize if you open one of my emails, I will be notified that you open one of my emails, and so I know if what I'm sending out is working. If you are able to evaluate what you are sending out as to whether it's working or not, then fine, you got a good system. But if you are not, you want to get in touch with me and help me move you along in that direction. So it's been great having you in this webinar. I hope you watch this webinar again and again and again, and I hope that you get in contact with me if you have any questions. And finally, for the 12th time, I must say it to you that I am Victor Irving Jenkins from Create the Spotlight Media Marketing, encouraging you to step up. You know the rest, don't you? Bye for now.